Hey, what's up everyone? We're back with an update on my Dozer Control Earth Machine deck profile featuring King Regulus. This card is so good for the deck, so good. He's an Omni-Negate. So this deck, Earth Machines are not about negations, right? We're all about destruction, big attack boss monsters. So the fact that we got a Omni-Negate is so good, and he's only a plus for the deck. Like, we use him so easily. He's not a level 10, but he's still so good, right? So, spoiler alert, he's a 3 of. Of course, he's gonna be a 3 of, right? Yes, I know this is not real. He doesn't exist in an ulti, right? It's not a real ulti. But hey, I still like using it as a high quality ulti, so it is what it is, right? Anyways, a quick shameless plug before we continue. If you guys are interested in this awesome playmat, Field Center, or some cool nib tokens, feel free to check the description, the link in the description down below for some cool collector's rare, high quality tokens. If not, hey, no problem. Enjoy the show. So, the way I built this deck is I built it to be a fun, grindy version. It's not the most competitive one, so I have no droplets in here, which is good if you want to be competitive. But this is the way I like to play it. I think it's fun. It's still good. You might be able to take a locals every now and then if you're lucky, but don't expect to get first place regionals. So then, but hey, it's still a good deck, guys. Still a good, most quality, fun deck. So first things first, Regulus. We're gonna play King Regulus at a 3 of course. Definitely a 3 of. He's an easy plus. His effect is when he's in our hand, we can target a Therion or a machine card in our graveyard. Now, we don't play any other Therion, so it'll be just machines that we target. We have nothing but machine monsters, so it's all good to go. And we're gonna equip it to him and then special summon him from the hand. Now, the amazing part about Bullet Train is that at the end phase, if he goes from the field to the graveyard, at the end of every turn, we get to add any Earth Machine from our grave to our hand. Regulus is an Earth Machine, so like, we get to keep recycling him over and over and over again, right? And he's searchable through River Stormer, right? He's Earth Machine, so like, he's synergized so good with the deck. So we get to keep recycling an Omni-Negate over and over again, and it's so free. It doesn't lock us into anything. 2800 beat stick, now level 10 unfortunately, but he's just such a free card. And Bullet Train allows us to keep recycling him over and over again, and we play 3 of. So I mean, it's a great card. And the way we activate his effect is that when our opponent activates effect or activates a card or card effect, we get to tribute a Therion card, so it'll have to be him, and then they'll both get sent to the grave, right? Negate the effect, and then Bullet Train will allow us to add it back on again. So next turn we get a chance to, bam, add it, boom, there we go, and we recycle over and over again. So such an amazing synergy card. You don't have to do Bullet Train, of course. If you want to go into grab any card, if you want to grab any card, and then go into your rank 10 place with Bullet Express Train, detach material, and then at the end of the effect, then do it, you can. But yeah, just great synergy overall. So where I have this deck profile split is by archetype, not really by monster spells and traps. So let's get started with the Infinitrack cards. We play Triple Harvester. Harvester is one of our 12 starters, 14 if we're going second, and he's amazing because not only is he a 1 card a starter where we go full combo with just him, but his level manipulation is really good too. Specifically with 2 cards, it's going to be with Fortress, or it's going to be with any of our level 10s, including Citadel. So with Fortress, Harvester's effect allows us to make 2 level 9s. Allows us to go into Earth Slicer, right? Earth Slicer is detached amount of materials, pop the amount of cards, so good. So we can do typically 3 somewhat easily. So great effect with that. Bullet Train and Derek Crane are level 10s, and we can make a hard Zeus. We can hard make Zeus. So if we're going second, need a bit out of negate, need a board wipe. Harvester, target Bullet Train or Derek Crane because they're easy to get out their hand easily. We can instantly just board wipe, hard make Zeus, so good. So definitely a very, very good card. 3 of for sure. Always will be a 3 of for me. Next will be the Anchor Drill. Anchor Drill is a 1 of. Always will, I think, my opinion, will be a 1 of. You can cut him out. Very few people I've seen cut him out, but I think it's worth having in hand because he's what you're gonna search with Gearbox going turn 2. So not your turn 2, but turn 2 in general. You go first. So going first deck. and then your opponent's going to go, and then you're going to want to search out Yugioh because he's going to be typically your normal summon for turn 3. And his synergy is good with Gearbox himself because Gearbox is pretty dead in the hand. He's pretty dead. So once he's in the hand, turn 3, we can normal, activate, special, and then use his effect manipulation like Harvester and make 2 level 8s. And guess what? We make Dingirsu, right? We have our destruction protection, and we have our send to grave, right? Can't be destroyed. Something can't be destroyed, right? Or banished. Hey, guess what? We sent in the grave. It's perfect, right? Very, very good, very good. Now, yep. So that's Yugioh, a 1-up for sure. Turn 3. He's your target for Gearbox on your opponent's turn. And next we're gonna play triple Brutal Dozer. He's a key piece in the very big key piece in the combo. He's searchable. It's typically you want to search him through Harvester. So normal, search Harvester, and the special Trencher is the next piece of the combo. And that's how part of the combo goes. And oh yeah, Brutal Dozer. So Brutal Dozer is the only card in the entire deck that will lock into anything. It locks you into Earth Machines, so be careful. If you need to go into Dingirsu, if you need to go to Zeus, be careful on Brutal Dozer because once you start that line of play, you're locked. You're completely locked into it. So keep that in mind. Other than that, everything else is all free game. You know, you locked into nothing. You know, throughout the combos, just Brutal Dozer. Keep that in mind. Trencher is our extender during that combo. We banish him, special summon any Infinitrack cards from the graveyard and defense, and it does not negate the effects. So if you special Harvester or Anchor Drill, you get to use that effect if you have not used it already during that turn. Very, very good. I've seen a few people play this at 1. You can play this at 1 if you want to be very aggressive, very, very competitive. But like I said, if you want to grind, resources, you have to keep him at 2. You know, 3 is too much. 1 is not enough if you want to grind. But this, in my opinion, I think it is good for 2. I like playing it grindy. I like having that fall save just in case. So he's a 2-up for me. Lastly, our last monster from Infinitrack is going to be our Tunneler. Tunneler is our Pot of Avarice. We get to pick 5 machines, any machines in our graveyard, shuffle them in the deck, and then draw 5 cards. Not draw 2, draw 2. Shuffle 5 into the deck and then draw 2. That would be absolutely nuts. Okay, now quick thing about this, right? Unlike Pot of Avarice, with Pot of Avarice, if I chain DD Crow on the card, one of the cards that Pot of Avarice targeted, Pot of Avarice does not get its effect. You do not get to draw 2. You have to shuffle all 5 of those cards in order to draw the 2. That is not the case with Tunneler. If your opponent tries to call by the grave, or DD Crow, or somehow snatch something out of the grave, one of the cards that you targeted, you still get to draw the 2. So keep that in mind for rulings. And so he's part of the combo. You only need one of him because that kind of like resource recycling isn't needed. You know, later game. Like it can help, but typically by the time you get to later game in the grindy, you're already recycling Regulus. Your Citadel's going back and forth. You don't need Tunneler. He's only going to be a brick in your hand later down the road. You never want to see this in your hand. You never want to see this in your hand. You want to always search this out throughout your Gearbox. This is Gearbox target. You know, when you add Gearbox to hand. And our last Infinitrack card is going to be Heavy Forward. Heavy Forward is our Rhoda for the deck. It searches out any of our Infinitracks, typically your Harvester. And the second effect allows you to attach it as a material to a machine Xyz monster. So we can make a Ningirsu, who's a machine, give him an extra material. Or a Zeus, give him extra material, right? Our Lieb, right? We can give him extra material, right? Very, very cool. So I better than Rhoda in my opinion, for sure. Better than Rhoda. So that's what he does. And that's it. That's it for the Infinitrack cards. Now we can go into our Machinas. So for our Machina, we play the single Citadel, our boss monster of the deck. He's a walking Raigeki. Oh, he's so good, so amazing, right? Big boy. So what Citadel does is you can target another card. You can target another machine you control, right? You can target, try and destroy it. Try and destroy it, and then you nuke your opponent's field based on that attack of that monster. Now, it doesn't say that you have to destroy the monster in order to resolve its effect. You're just going to try and destroy it. So you can target one of your big XD monsters like Labe, right? Who has a Goliath attached to it for protection. You can target, here we go. You can target Super Dora, who's unaffected by card effects, to try and destroy it and still nuke the field. It'll still resolve. Or you can even nuke himself. He will get destroyed now, but he keeps coming back. And whenever an Earth Machine, has to be Earth Machine, whenever Earth Machine gets destroyed, you can bring him back, and he just keeps coming back and forth, right? It's just such a good card, guys. Such a good card. This is typically what your opponent's going to try and DD Crow or Call by the Grave, you know, as you start to use it. Such a good card, right? He's like the Doom King Balladrock of Earth Machines. Very, very cool. And next we play Triple Metal Cruncher. You can cut this out to 2. You can. We play so many 1-card starters that you can cut it down. But I like having it because even if, let's say, I have 2 in my hand, he's a discard fodder. I can use redeployment to search out the trap card. So I really don't mind having him out at 3. You know, I plan on keeping him at 3. He's a good target in a worst case for I forgot. Oh yeah, for redeployment. No worst case if we need it if we didn't draw any 1-card starters. And also, I like having him at 3. I really like having him at 3. You can cut him off if you like, but the 2 even. But I think 2 is a bare minimum. 3 to me is appropriate. Next we play for our spell. For my human cards is triple redeployment. Has to be at 3. Amazing card. This is how we want to get to our overdrive, so we can get our Citadel. This searches out the Metal Cruncher in general, right? We can search out Citadel if we need to. We can search out Citadel and Fortress if we need to discard them both to get Fortress out, and then have Citadel in the grave, which is amazing. So a very, very good card. And then next, Fortress, right? I forgot to cover Fortress. Fortress, I used to run at 2. And you can run them at 2. But I cut them down to 1 because I wanted to run a more controlled trap variant, and I wanted to play. It had to make room for Urgent Schedule. So 2, I think 2 is a very good card to experiment with if you like. I enjoyed it at 2, but it was either between Urgent Schedule or Fortress at 2, and I decided to cut out a Fortress for it. So I mean, he's a free extender. Keep in mind. So I've seen players mess up and don't know how to play this card. So his effect to pitch monsters to special summon himself. Pitch himself. You can pitch him. It doesn't have to be another card. Typically cards will say pitch cards besides himself. But you can pitch, if I have in my hand like a Harvester, a Fortress, I can pitch. It doesn't activate. You don't have to activate it, right? So your opponent won't be able to respond yet. So you can just simply special, right? You can special by pitching them both, right? And then special summoning it. Doesn't activate. So your opponent can't, like, I don't know, chain something like, you know, like Ghost Bell, right? But you can't chain Ghost Bell to it. So keep that in mind. You don't have to. I've seen players don't read the card and they'll pitch like they'll pitch like 3 cards like up to 7, and then they'll special summon him. You don't have to do that. So keep that in mind, guys. So yeah, single Fortress. You can play 2 if you like, and for an extender and for the pop. If he gets destroyed by a battle, you can target a card and destroy it. So it's great for crashing on something, and then popping something to get rid of any card in general, whether it's back row or another monster. So an amazing card. Plus with limit being off 7, and Harvester being a 2, you can pick level 9 once again. And lastly is going to be our Overdrive. So it hurt to cut this down to 3. I mean, cut it down to 2. I used to play 3 all the time. I used to play always 3. But I just recently cut it down to 2 because he's number 1, semi-searchable with deployment, and 2, I play trap trick in here. I play a single trap trick, and I feel like with Urgent Schedule and redeployment and River Stormer and Metal Cruncher, I feel like we have too many ways of getting access to him. So I don't think the Overdrive is worth having at 3 anymore. You can play at 3, is nice to open it up, but we have access to overdrive. You're not gonna run through 3 overdrive. You're not gonna run to it. You know, your main mission for overdrive is to get to Citadel. That's the whole reason for it. But there's multiple ways of getting them out, and Regulus helps us out a little bit, and in terms of holding our ground for a little bit. So like, I don't think it's worth running it at 3 anymore. The graveyard effect is amazing for reshuffling our banished monsters. His secondary effect is that we get the it's like a mini pot of avarice. We get to target 3 of our machine cards that are banished or graveyard and shuffle in the deck. And this card is so good for that reason. So many people like to DD your Citadel, right? Get rid of like key monsters in the grave, right? Our River Stormer we keep recycling back, right? And or sometimes we banish, Tunneler or Trencher, right? As we combo off, we get to recycle the resources and then draw a card. So he has 2. This card has 2 amazing effects. So I think 2 is a good number for it. 3 is not necessary, but I've seen a few people play 1. I don't think it's worth playing at 1. I think definitely 3. I've seen guys play at 1. I definitely want to see it at. I don't mind seeing it twice in a game. I don't mind, and I want to see it more often than not. So yeah, that's it for our Machina cards. Next, we'll go into our non-archetype. So we're going to talk about our non-archetype monsters, and it is the single bullet train. We do not need 3 of these. We don't need 3 of them. He's a dead card in your hand. If you see 2 of them, like, it's just, you don't need 2. Commonly people either play 2 bullet train, 1 dare crane, or 2 dare crane, 1 bullet train. Very rarely I'll see 1 of each, but I play the 2 dare crane because you can chain block. If I see a dare crane in my hand, I won't ever search for him really. But if I see the dare crane in my hand, I guaranteed first turn a rank 10, which is going to be my Super Dora. Bam. A Super Dora, and then the Super Dora is unaffected by card effects. If his effect resolves, but I'll still get a pop with Dare Crane. So I don't mind seeing it multiple times. Like, I love seeing this card during my first draw. Like, the first 5 cards, I love seeing it. And the chain blocking is so good because his effect is that if a Earth Machine is summoned, normal or special, we get to activate the effect and special him from hand. So if we really need our Harvester resolve really bad, we can just normal summon, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, special, then search, and your opponent can't Ash the Harvester. I mean, it can imperm, but it won't be able to Gamma or Ash it. So I love the chain blocking, that extra security to resolve your combo. So I think it's worth 2-1. Experiment works for you, but that's the ratios that I like it. I've always liked it. I don't plan on changing it. Never regretted it. And then the Gearbox. Gearbox is just part of our Lana combo. I like to use them for. So typically, when you combo off, you can search for a Tunneler, and after that, the next one on your opponent's turn, you're going to be searching for Anchor Drill. So a good card. It's part of it. A complete brick in your hand. And discard fodder if you open it up, but it is what it is. Next, for our machine spells, we're to play. I play double Urgent Schedule. Some people play 3. You can play 3 if you want to, but I don't have to see this card. Like, if I see it, cool, but I don't have to see it. And I don't like how dead it can be turn 1 if your opponent, doesn't gamma your stuff, doesn't, like, it's just, you're not gonna do anything turn 1 with this card. So like, if you didn't open up one of your many starters, like, I don't know, like, it's a great card going second, and your targets are gonna be most. And this is one of the reasons why I play only 2 overdrive. There it is. It's because there's no need to play 3 overdrives if overdrive's main focus is to search out Citadel, right? When Urgent Schedule will search out your Citadel. So I don't think it's worth playing 3 of either one of them because they, for the most part, kind of access the same cards, somewhat. So that's just my opinion. I think 2 and 2 for these are perfect ratios. You can put a third one in the side and then main 3 for turn 2 when your opponent tries to go first. But I like having 2-2. set this card, I know turn 1, and then flip it up for your opponent's turn, get out the Citadel, protect you from damage from getting OTK'd. So that's just for me. I like 2-2. I haven't had any regrets ever since. And then that's it, guys. That's it for the main Earth Machines. What I'm about to go into next are my negate package. So this is going to be all subjective, guys. This is all subjective. So this is all depending on what you want to do, all right? For us as cards, these cards is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These extra 9 cards are all depending on how you want to do it based on your format. So for me, for the monsters, I play double Ash. All right. You don't have to play 3. You don't have to. If you see in your hand, cool. If not, oh well. But I never ever want to see 2 in my hand. Definitely want to see 2 in my hand. So I'm okay with playing 2. You're gonna see a lot of 2s in here, right? Hey, I like 2. And yes, these aren't real, but they look so cool. So I like having them. All right, guys, I like having them. All right. So I played 2 Ashes. I played a single called by DPE is a menace right now. And hey, we ourselves want to ourselves to resolve. So Ghost Bell, Ogre, Ash, called by Grave, that ass, right? I play a single Harpy Feather Duster. People don't play no Duster. I understand that. For me, I'm scared to death of back row. I hate back row. Like, not knowing what's down there is scary to me. So I play Duster. It is so satisfying when you're playing against a back row heavy deck. I know Elvis can recycle itself, but I'm not always gonna be able to do that, So I love having the Duster. I will always have a Duster in my in the main deck for me. And hey, worst case, swap it out. But I like having a single Duster. Once again, all these cards are based on you. This is where your droplets go. This is where Ash or Ghost over. This is where you want to put in for your negations. I play double Imperm, double Tribute, right? I play the double Overdrive, right? Where you at? I play double Overdrive, right? So I play 2 of. So why is that good? Because I play the single Trap Trick. I love having the single Trap Trick because I know it's a 1-of. You may never see that card. Hey, who knows? Maybe you'll never see it. But I love that if I do see it during my turn, I have access to 1, 2, 3 different targets depending on what I want to do. Sure, later down the road, there's a chance it could be completely dead, But the odds of having, recycling through all these are kind of bit low. And I love having the versatility of having 3 different targets of 3 different targets for Trap Trick. I like having the Machina Overdrive recyclable, which is why I can't play this at 1. I can't play that at 1 because it's not a Trap Trick target anymore. You can play at 3 with the Trap Trick targets, right? You can play 2 Trap Trick targets if you want and go more heavier on the traps. Take out the Ash, take out the Duster if you want to play more traps. But for me, I like having it. I do want some kind of form of combo disruption if I lose a die roll. So the Ash and Imperm for me are good to go. And Torrential Tribute is just tribute, Torrential, it's nuke the field, and it's so good. We don't mind the destruction. We don't mind our cards being destroyed because Citadel triggers when Earth Machine gets destroyed, right? So, and it's typically, and we grind. This deck grinds. That's another reason why I like Torrential Tribute because as we grind out, I will outgrind you, right? So many decks are like big on, giving resources, and then after that, your field gets nuked, and hey, they're done. And we just keep grinding. So that's my negate package. Those 9 cards are going to be dependent on what you're comfortable with, your budget. Hey, you're a very budget player. Play Lost Wind. Hey, no problem. Do that if you like. All right. Lastly, let's go into our extra deck. All right. So we're gonna play obviously the Labe, our boss monster. Our boss monster, big boy, Chunkamunka, 6K beat stick if we need to. Swing OTK. Our OTK button. And or next we play a single Zeus. You don't need to have him once. You can play him at 2, but I think 1 is okay to have. We hard make them with our level 10s and our Harvester. Great. Single Room Stormer, you don't need more than 1. 1 is fine because you can still recycle his effect while he's in the grave. You can. He's a Rhoda. Actually, he does an everything searcher. He searches any machine, Foolish Burials, or searches any Earth Machine. So you can search out Regulus, you can search out Citadel, but typically your target is going to be Bullet Train. So depends on you. All right. Our Dink, right? Need to play Dink. send the grave, right? You know, no need for destruction. Just send it. Send any card, right? Destruction protection, right? He's a machine too. Earth Slicer. I love this card. I love this card. You know, detaching 3 and destroying 3 is so good, so cool. And the cool thing about the Infinitrack Exeases is that when you destroy a monster, we can attach them as link material. Very cool, because that's one less resource they could use in the grave, and then that's the material we can use. So very cool. We play a single Enter Blathnir because he's a non-target banish, or we can snatch something from their hand. All right, once per turn, detach material, banish 1 card your opponent controls, or banish a random card from your opponent's hand, or a graveyard if you want to. But typically, that's going to be the effect you use. He's a win. Be careful, he's a win. So remember, with our Brutal Dozer, you might be able to use that effect if you go into that. Right, light, dark, wind. Be careful. Next, I play Sky Palace. Me. I know a lot of people don't. I know people play P4. We'll get into him later. But I play Sky Palace. I love the fact that I get to target and pop a card on the field, because this is one of our level 10s. If I don't have access to Derek Crane, or if I want to do 2 pops with Derek Crane, we get to detach material, target a card, destroy it, and then burn for a K. I love the effect for me personally. So I like having a Sky Palace. Next, Gustav Mask. Hey, big gun, detach, burn for 2K. And then last, there are Superdora. Superdora is going to be the card that if we have our Derek Crane in our hand, turn 1, or we get to resolve our urgent schedule. We can bring out Dora, and his effect is, it's a quick effect. We get to detach material, and he's unaffected by card effects. So very, very cool. 3200, 3K, 34. Man, everyone's huge. 31 for rank 9. So very, very cool. Next, lastly, are links. Single Ballista. Obviously, don't need more than 1. It's part of the combo. Recycle them back with Tunneler. No need. And double Anchor Knuckle. I see some people playing at 1. Guys, play them at 2. Try them at 2. I guarantee you won't regret it. I see a lot of guys who had him at 1, then they end up kind of somewhat missing him, and they experiment with 2, and next thing you know, they love him. They're like, oh my god, he's so amazing at 2. I'm like, yeah, he is. Because you can't... You can only use one of his effects per turn. Only one each. Oh, not one each. It's one of them. So oftentimes I want to get... He's a Monster Reborn for level 10s. And if on my turn I really need a level 10, not just generic, spamming monsters, but still level 10, I have to activate his effect to bring him out. He's dead that turn. Like I can't get anything else out of him. It's not until my next turn I can do something. By then, the machines can destroy. Like it's just not. It's just like you definitely want him to cycle into turn 3, OTK button to get your 10s out, so you can swing with Labe. So you can pop, burn, swing for a game. All right. And lastly is going to be our triple Goliath. Goliath. Part of the combo piece, always will be a 3 of. He has to be a 3 of, always a 3 of. Very good way to get cards in the graveyard. And whenever his effect, where if he goes to the grave, we can target an Xyz monster we control and attach it to material. Any Xyz monster, any, not Earth, not Earth machine, not machine, any Xyz monster, attach to material. And as long as this has material on it, it can't be destroyed by card effects. So if I have Labe out, right? And with Goliath attached to it, like I said earlier, it's like turning a mask. It looks kind of cool though, right? So if I activate Citadel's effect, activate target Labe, right, to nuke the field, it's going to destroy everything with 4K or lower on opponent's field, and then Labe will not get destroyed. You don't have to resolve. You don't have to destroy the card in order to get that effect to resolve. So keep that in mind. Very, very, very good. Very good. So that's it. That's it for the deck. Now let's talk about real quick some options out there that you could do. So these are some cards I picked out. Now Fortress, I talked about before. You can play 2 Fortresses. I like playing 2 Fortress, but I had to make room for certain cards, so I ended up taking them out. So you can play 2 if you like. Experiment with that. The Cleave for Genius. A lot of people, I already know, my comments about it has to be done. Take out the Sky Palace, put in the Genius. Genius is good. Yeah, it's good, but like oftentimes I'd rather destroy a card rather than negate its effects. I know that's its main purpose is to negate something that I know. Number one, it's like protected, so it's harder to stop play for, and sometimes certain cards need to be stopped, right? And to pop them. But for me, I just don't go into them often. Like, I don't like as I play them, I try, and I just don't. I end up like liking the Sky Palace to burn and pop more than I see the Genius, for me at least. So, and plus it's kind of heavy material. You gotta get out. If you have a troublesome card, for me, my experience, for me, when I've had a troublesome card out there that I had to get rid of, getting that card normally stops me from even getting into Cleave Genius, because I still gotta get 2 machines out there. I gotta link them away. I gotta have another card on the field to negate in order to get that result, and then finally gotta push forward to do something with that card or that field. So Genius to me doesn't do much for me. It didn't work out for me. So experiment as you like. Urgent Schedule, you can play it at 3. What I recommend is having the 3rd one in your side deck. I don't. I think 2 in the main deck is okay, and then I keep them in the main deck turn 2. Turn 3, I take it out. But that's another option you can do. And then Goes and Match. Goes and Match is very good against certain decks. You know, Prank Kid. You know, there's a lot of decks that even things like Tri Brigade, right? So it can hurt a lot of decks. It's a good floodgate, but I can't. Every time I try to put probably 2 of these cards in there, I think, okay, what cards am I gonna take out? And when I think about the card I'm gonna take out, it doesn't win over the Goes and Match. I mean, it wins over the Goes and Match. Like, I can't justify taking out that card for the Goes and Match. So try it out. These are all 3. I think you should experiment if you want to give it a shot. Last is Droplets. Definitely, I think Droplets would be good for 3 of. In this deck, non-targeting, selecting, right? Selecting and reducing attack is definitely great for the deck. But hey, I don't have Droplets. I don't want to spend the money on Droplets. I'm not even gonna proxy them either. I'm okay with the way the deck is. I like the way the deck plays. I like the synergy I have so far. So that's just me, though. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. Thanks for tuning around. Man, my deck profile is so long. I don't know how they end up being so long. Jesus Christ. But hey, swing by my store, pick up this mat. This mat is so cool. Represent. All right, everyone, that's it. Peace out. Take care, and deuces.